There it goes. What time is class? So that's about it. Sorry. I'm ready. I'm also very tired. My name is Anna, and I'm a college junior at Emory University, and I have narcolepsy. So narcolepsy is a neurological disorder that affects the brain's ability to control sleep-wake cycles. And so people with narcolepsy experience excessive sleepiness during the day, even if they've gotten enough sleep the night before. There are two types of narcolepsy: type 1 narcolepsy, which is narcolepsy with cataplexy. Cataplexy is when the person experiences muscle weakness that is triggered by strong emotions. And then there's type 2 narcolepsy, which is narcolepsy without cataplexy. I was diagnosed last December 2020. And basically what a diagnosis entails is going to a sleep clinic. Usually it's a process, sadly, but you will go and do an overnight study called a polysomnography, or PSG for short. And basically what they're looking for is how long does it take you to fall asleep and whether or not you enter REM sleep, which is dreaming sleep. Narcoleptics will fall asleep very quickly, and they also will enter REM sleep frequently during their naps as well. And you're really only supposed to hit REM sleep when it's the middle of the night, and actually towards the later half of the night. Across the 5 naps, I had an average falling asleep time of 1.5 minutes. In addition to that, you also have to enter REM sleep at least twice, so in at least 2 of the 5 naps. And for me, I entered it 3 times. My freshman year of college was when I really started to pay attention more to these kinds of things, because in high school I had experienced a little bit of feeling tired pretty often, but I mean, I was a high school student. I was also working a part-time job that was very physically involving, and so I mostly attributed my tiredness to that. Then once I got to college, I stopped doing a lot of physical, I mean, I still exercised, but I stopped doing anything that would be considered more physical than normal that would make me tired. So yeah, it was kind of a roundabout way, but I mean, I was just, whatever I could think of might be causing it, I would try to address it, and it wouldn't work. I say this all the time, college students are not well known for their fantastic sleep habits. But in my case, before I even went to the specialist, I was like, okay, I'm not gonna drink any coffee. I'm gonna maintain a regular sleep schedule and all that, because I felt like if I went to the doctor and he saw, oh, this is a college student, you probably have really terrible sleeping habits, I wanted to be able to say, no, actually, I'm doing everything right and I'm still tired all day. It was basically a long series of trial and error until I got to the daytime study. And then that was finally what made a lot of sense. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I know that Elizabeth wants to go to Canada. I don't know how feasible that is. Yeah, I haven't heard anything. I assumed that we would be going to New Orleans just because we weren't able to gather at Christmas. I mean, the problem with narcolepsy is it affects sleep, and sleep, whether you like it or not, affects everything else in your life. It manifests in I'm tired all the time. My roommates would tell you that I just walk around the apartment being like, oh, I'm so tired. And so it makes certain activities a lot more challenging. It's frustrating on many levels because A, you don't know why. You're doing all of the things right when it comes to sleep. You're sleeping 8 hours, you're not drinking a whole bunch of coffee. You're still tired. And then B, like if you want to go out like with friends, or if you want to like watch a movie, like it can be really hard to stay awake. And you miss out on having fun with your friends, or they think that you're getting really bored and you want to go home. It does have its impacts in life in like a physical sense, but it also has impacts in like a social sense as well. I definitely was like drinking out of this like measuring cup during class a bunch last semester, and I just didn't give a shit. I forgot that I moved everything around. And we get milk. And now I will sit on a placemat that my mommy made. Manana. Narcolepsy in college has been interesting because I was only diagnosed with it last December, but I probably could have gotten the diagnosis like in my freshman year. Because freshman year and then first semester of sophomore year, I was tired all the time. And freshman year was easier to attribute it to, oh, you're a freshman, you're moving to college, like it's very stressful. But then I was like well into my college career and I was still feeling tired all the time. So definitely like it affects my class life. Not only in the sense of like I'm falling asleep and I can't really take in the information as well, but also like if I'm yawning all throughout class or like I'm feeling really sleepy, then like what does the professor think? Like does he think that I'm like, he or she, does they think that I'm really bored with their class? And that is usually not the answer. But at the same time, like I cannot help myself because my brain. That's why I appreciate the fact that because we have to stay at home all the time right now, I can get up from my desk and walk into my bedroom and take a nap. Where that does become problematic is, okay, now I've lost an hour of the day to sleeping when most other people in college would be studying or getting work done. And so that's an hour of work time that I've lost essentially. That is probably the most frustrating part to me because especially this semester has been very stressful, and like it's required a lot of work and a lot of assignments, and the fact that I will have to go and take a nap for like an hour most days is just frustrating because it's time that I could be using to be more productive on my assignments. It's also frustrating to go through like the trial and error of like medications. Narcolepsy is really something that we don't know much about it to begin with, and B, because we don't know much about it, there's not a like set cure, quote unquote, for it. And so as a result, you're pretty much taking pills until you die, which is fine once the pills work. My current one does not. And so I think that's another like mentality sort of, it messes with your brain because you're sitting there, you're like, okay, at least I have a name for it now. Like, can we address it and like fix it? But it's not as easy as like the flu where you like take Tamiflu or something and you know that it'll get better in 3 days. Like, no, this is something that you have to go through like months of trying different medications. And then once you find the medication, you basically stay on it for the rest of your life. Labels, different people see labels differently. I appreciate the label because I know that it is not, like I'm not doing something wrong. Like I know that this is just how my biology is. So it is comforting to have that. Where labels unfortunately become more practical is in terms of obtaining like accommodations. You oftentimes will need an actual diagnosis. You will need a name for it before you can get services from the government, services from your school. And this applies to any, like any disability or learning delay that people might have, not just narcolepsy. And it's a lot easier to go around and say, oh, I have narcolepsy, than it is to say, I'm sleepy during the day all the time for reasons unknown at this moment.